It is late, and you are the only one awake. The room hums with the sound of machines doing what they always do, listening to a sky that has never once answered. You have done this 1,000 nights. You expect nothing. That is the secret of this work. You learn to expect nothing, because nothing is what the universe has always given back. And then, on an ordinary screen in the middle of an ordinary night, something is there. At first you think it is a mistake, a glitch, a piece of interference from a passing satellite, a phone, a microwave down the hall. You have been fooled before. Everyone in this field has. So you do what you were trained to do. You stay calm, you check it again, you rule out the easy answers one by one, the way you always do. But this time the easy answers run out. The signal does not fade. It does not scatter. It repeats, clean and deliberate and patient, in a pattern that nothing natural has ever made. It is not a star, it is not a pulsar, it is not noise. It is a structure, an intention. A hand reaching across an impossible distance and tapping, gently, on the glass. And in that moment, sitting alone in a quiet room, you become the first human being in all of history to know that we are not alone. Take a breath. Because nothing about your life, or anyone's, is the same after this. The first feeling is not fear. That surprises people later when they imagine this moment. The first feeling is wonder. A wonder so vast it does not fit inside your chest. After all the centuries of looking up and seeing only silence, someone has answered. We are not the only ones. We never were. Somewhere out there, across that ocean of dark, another mind exists, and it has spoken, and you are the one holding its voice in your trembling hands. For a moment, that is all there is, the beauty of it, the impossible, holy beauty of not being alone. And then slowly, the wonder begins to curdle, because the questions come, and the first one is so simple and so quiet that it barely feels like fear at all. What do we do now? You look around the empty room. There is no alarm for this, no button to press, no voice on a speaker telling you the plan. You realize, with a strange and creeping cold, that you do not actually know who to call. And that is when the truth begins to settle over you like a shadow. Maybe no one knows, maybe there is no plan at all. Here is what most people believe. They believe that somewhere in some secure room, there is a procedure, a sealed envelope, a chain of command that springs into motion the instant this happens. Calm professionals who have rehearsed this exact moment, who will lift this weight off your shoulders and carry it the way it deserves to be carried. That belief is a comfort. It is also very nearly a fiction. In truth, the plan for this moment is a handful of pages written decades ago by a small group of scientists, a declaration of principles, they called it. It tells you to verify the signal, to tell the others in your field, to notify the world honestly, and not to answer on humanity's behalf without agreement. It is thoughtful, it is careful, and it is almost completely powerless. No government is bound by it. No law enforces it. It is less a plan than a hope, written by people who wish that if this day ever came, we would be wiser than our history suggests. And it cannot survive what happens next, because a thing like this cannot be kept in a quiet room. The scientists who study this have said it plainly. Within hours, the phones begin to ring. Word slips out, the way water finds every crack. A colleague mentions it to a friend. A number appears in the wrong place. And then it is not your secret anymore. It is not even a government secret. It belongs to everyone all at once. And this is the moment the story stops being about you and becomes about all of us. Imagine the world waking up to it. Not in the slow-managed way of the movies, with a calm leader at a podium explaining what is known. Imagine it the way it would really happen. A leaked message, a blurry screenshot, a word spreading faster than any truth can follow, the markets opening to it, the streets filling with it, governments scrambling to look as though they are in control of something no one controls. Imagine the arguments that begin within the hour, the ones who say we must answer, that this is the moment our species has waited for since we first looked up and wondered, and the ones who say we must go silent, that to reveal ourselves any further is to invite something we cannot survive. Both of them afraid, both of them certain, and no one anywhere with the authority to decide. Because here is the quiet, terrible truth at the center of all of it. There is no one in charge of humanity. There never has been. We have spent our whole history as 1,000 separate voices. And now, in the one moment that demands we speak as one, we will discover that we do not know how. But underneath every argument, every prayer, every scrambling government, a deeper question waits. And it is not, what do we say? It is, what is this? Because think for a moment about what we have actually received. A signal does not whisper. To cross the distances between stars, it must scream. It must be sent with enormous power, aimed outward, broadcast wide, with no attempt to hide. And that should stop you cold. Because any civilization clever enough to send it would also be clever enough to know the danger of being heard. The safest thing, the wisest thing in a universe full of strangers is to stay silent, to make no sound at all. So ask yourself, what would make someone break that silence? What would make a civilization stand up in the dark and shout, knowing exactly what shouting might bring? Only one thing, something worse than being found. They did not whisper to us, they sounded an alarm. And an alarm is not sent to say hello. It is sent to warn. We will pour everything we have into understanding it. The greatest minds of our age, every machine we own, turn toward those few repeating pulses, trying to pull meaning from the dark. And we may succeed and we may not, and the not knowing will be its own kind of madness. Because a stranger has shouted at us from across the void, has spent everything to make sure we would hear, and we cannot see their face, and we cannot read their meaning, and we have to decide what to do anyway. So now come back to that quiet room, on that ordinary night, before any of it has happened yet. Because all of that, the panic and the prayers and the arguments and the fear, all of it is still in the future. Right now it is only you and a signal on a screen, patient and deliberate, repeating itself into the silence, waiting for someone to notice. The world is still asleep. For one more moment, the most important fact in human history belongs to you alone. And then, as you sit with it, the pattern begins to give up its meaning. Not all at once, the way it happens in stories, but the way it would really happen, piece by piece. Each step checked and checked again until what is left can no longer be denied. It is language. It is deliberate. It was meant for anyone who might be listening. And then the last of it falls into place. We don't have much time. That is the message. That is the first thing another mind has ever said to us. Not a greeting, not a question, a warning, sent with everything they had, across a distance you cannot imagine. And the cold that moves through you in that moment is not only from the words, it is from the silence behind them. Because a signal like this does not arrive the instant it is sent. It crosses space at the speed of light, and space is impossibly wide. The voice in front of you may have left its source long ago. The ones who sent it may have finished their warning, and then waited, and then watched whatever they feared arrive. They may already be gone. You may be holding the last words of a civilization that has been dead for longer than you have been alive. They told us we don't have much time, and they told us a long, long time ago. How much is left? They do not say. Maybe they never knew. But you understand, with a certainty that settles into your bones, the one thing this message truly means. Whatever time we have less of it now. And we do not have enough of it left to figure out how much that is. The world is still asleep. The signal is still glowing, patient and unbothered, repeating its warning into the dark, the way it has been repeating it since before any of us were born. Your hand is still hovering over the phone, and the most important fact in human history is still yours alone, for one more second, in the last quiet you will ever know. You think about all of it, the wonder and the terror, the world that is about to wake, the choice no one prepared us for. And as your hand finally closes the distance to the phone, a single thought rises up from somewhere deep and old inside you, quiet as a whisper, cold as the space between the stars. You hope it isn't too late, but the message already answered that. It crossed an ocean of years to reach you, carrying those few small words from someone who knew exactly how little time meant out here in the dark. We don't have much time. We never did. And now at last, we have heard it.